This video is brought to you by YTAndrewPaul Tech Repairs. If you have a console, laptop, computer or Macbook in need of repair in the UK or the EU, then have a look in the description below this video for details on how to contact us in order to organise your repair. Hi there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's video. And today we're going to be taking a look at this PS4 Slim. It has no disk feed. We've already had a look at this on the SAA, SAB and SAC boards, so it seems only fitting we take a look at the SAD. So here's the PlayStation in question. So we're going to try and start it up and we'll see what it does. So we've got the blinking blue light at the moment. The eject button does work. Okay, we have output to display. It's just got the PlayStation logo on there. So let's try and feed the disc, see what it does. And you can see there's absolutely no activity whatsoever. No whirring, no nothing. So yes, this certainly has a problem. So let's take it apart. Let's get the board out. Let's get it under the microscope. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can get it working again. Right, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and we've got the board out of the console now. And we're going to take a look and see if we can work out exactly what's causing this particular Slim not to accept any discs or reject them. So this should be an interesting one. So of course we have taken a look at the SAC-001, which was the 1200 revision PS4. We've also had a look at the SAB revision boards for the same thing. So I'm sure we should be able to work out this particular machine's case as well. This is an SAD-001 from the PS4 Slim, as we've seen. So let's go and take a look and see if we can work it out. So the first important thing to check on these boards is the fuses. So the drive board mechanism actually has several fuses installed on there to protect the various elements of the drive from any sort of like overcurrent and things like that. So it's important that when you get an issue with the drive feed that you actually check the board. Now on the older SAA and SAB-001 boards, of course, that was nice and easy because the board was installed on top of the Blu-Ray drive, which was accessible just by taking the top of the drive off. You know, so you take the base of the console off, and there's a metal shield over the drive board, and it's literally 3 screws and you're in. With these, it's a lot more complicated. In fact, with this machine, we've more or less had to strip it down to its component parts to get the motherboard out. So, yeah, it's a bit of a pain, but there's not really a lot you can do. And, of course, these days, along with the SAC-001 boards, the actual main board itself is integrated with the Blu-ray board. So, the Blu-ray board itself doesn't exist anymore. It's all on this one particular PCB, which I suppose makes it somewhat easier to manufacture for Sony, but it makes it a bit of a pain for us to troubleshoot it. So what can we do? So, well, let's take a look. So we said the fuses were the first important thing you need to check. So what we've done is we've got our multimeter here, and we've put the multimeter into continuity mode. Continuity mode is the mode where the thing will beep when you touch the 2 probes together, and of course that beep means there's a direct connection between point A and point B. And with fuses, it's important that there is that direct connection between point A and point B, because when they blow, that's the whole point. It breaks the connection between the one end of the fuse and the other, so that the current can't get through, and consequently it stops that portion of the circuit working, either to protect it or to protect you. So that's what we're looking at today, is the fuses. So the first important thing you need to check are the fuses, and on the SAD-001 there's a few. So there's 4 in fact that you need to be checking on here for disk drive issues. And of course, you know, this is the side where the APU is. There's the APU. You've got an SAD-001 marker there. Just up and to the right, we've got the south bridge, so that should give you some orientation here. If you look just to the left and below the APU, you'll see this thing. And we're just going to turn the board around so you can see it properly, but that is the Renesas SCEI R9J04G011FR1. That's the drive controller chip. That is the thing that marries the drive to the console. Of course, with it all being on the same board these days, I don't suppose you can separate them, so at least you won't get any more 35888-2 errors because somebody swapped the drive out. At least, you know, if you get a bad drive now, you can just change the drive. I presume Sony probably did that, you know, from a warranty perspective. When they got machines back with Duff lasers, they could literally just change the drive out rather than have to dismantle the drive to change the laser. So we need to get onto the fuses. So there's 4 fuses, I said. So where this chip is, where that SCI Renesas chip is, this side of the board has 3 fuses. If you look to the right, you'll see this crystal. Okay, the 25 megahertz crystal there. And then we see a designation here for F6202. F6202 is this component here with a line through it. So you'll see it's separating this point from this point. So it's a power bridge here, and of course the fuse goes over the power to protect it. And there is F6201. F6201 is this one here with a little dot on it. Again, that's protecting this plane from this plane. So the power must come through here, where these 4 separation gaps are, and then you'll have partial of the circuit here and part of the circuit here. And F6202 and F6201 protect those various parts of the circuit. And then if you look to the right of that, you've got a coil, a couple of caps, some FETs, and then you have this designation here, F5103. F5103 is in fact this little tiny one here. So again, it looks like power comes down from here where the FETs are, across these caps, and then eventually gets tapped off and goes through to the other side of the board, whatever's through there, via this fuse. So F5103, so that's another one you need to check. Okay, and then on the back side, where the cables are, so you've got this big connector here, that's the laser ribbon connector. Okay, and then you have the drive motor controller, the BD-7764. And then just to the top of that, you'll see that we've got a board designation here for F6001. F6001 is essentially this little tiny black fuse here. So F6001 is this tiny little black fuse here. Again, it looks like it takes power and feeds it into this chip. So F6001 is just this little tiny thing here. Okay. So that's essentially it. So you've got those 4 fuses. So we are going to test these fuses now. So F6001, let's see if it will beep. Hopefully the microphone on the headset is going to pick this one up. Hopefully my leads aren't going to knock this everywhere like they're currently trying to do. So F6001, let's see if we have continuity on F6001. So all we do is put a multimeter probe on one side and the other probe on the other. Tiny, my fingers are slipping off it. Multimeter's saying 1 ohm. And of course the beep means we do have connection across that fuse. Job's a good one. So going back across to the other side of the board, back to the Renesas SCI chip we pointed out earlier. We're going to check the other fuses. So F5103, effectively like F501 from the other SAA, SAB daughter boards. He's good. Let's go down here to F6201. This is just to the bottom right of the Renesas IC, remember? The one with the dot. Multimeter says 1.4 ohms and dropping. So we've only got one more possibility, and that's F6202. So let's see what F6202 reads. We get OL, open line. So no beep. No beep means no continuity across that fuse. That means that fuse is blown. That fuse needs to come off and needs to be changed. Excellent. So F202 looks like our culprit. Well, potentially our culprit. We'll not count our chickens too early just yet. But hopefully we may have found the answer. So F202 needs to come off this board. So we'll just pop a little bit of flux around F202. We'll pop the fume extraction on. We'll get the fume extraction in, of course. Try not to block out too much light while we're at it. Get the hose, the air wand, get some tweezers. And let's get F6202 off this board. I'm going to have to block your view, I'm afraid. It's coming off in component pieces, look, it's actually coming apart. Yeah, it's coming apart. So, well, we'll leave the air wand out because we're going to need it, but we are going to have to find a slightly better way of replacing that, of removing that fuse. So, I'm going to break out the soldering iron. You can see there, it just looks like a little dirty stain on the board. It's actually welded itself to the board. That's slightly odd. Never seen one do that before. I literally can't remove it. It won't even come off with a soldering iron. Oh dearie me, that's not good. It won't even come off with a soldering iron. Looks like it's physically burnt the board. It actually has as well. Wow. Let's just see what's... So when this fuse has gone bang, it's, yeah, it certainly has gone in a big way. So much so, it's actually welded into the board. I'm not even entirely sure we're going to be able to recover the... I'm not entirely sure we're going to be able to recover the pads. They look toast. I just managed to break the centre of the fuse out. Wow. So it won't come off with hot air and it won't come off with a soldering iron. Well, that's interesting. So let's put some more flux down. Let's get some more solder on there. See if we can't scrape these pads clean again. Well, with a little bit of scraping, eventually, we did manage to get that stain of a fuse out of the way. So we're just going to clean this again, just to show you. It's a little bit easier to see without all the flux residue in the way. Normally I wouldn't bother until we'd replace the fuse, but you can see now, hopefully. That we now have a couple of pads tinned up, ready to accept a new fuse. Excellent. So let's get another board. Let's get a donor board in. We don't have any donors for the SADs, so an SAC is going to have to do. Just looking at F6202 on an SAC board, it looks to be a bigger fuse. I'm not sure it's going to fit in its place. So instead I'm going to take F5104 from the SAC. Just going to pop a little bit of flux down on the pads. Yeah, there's no way 6202 from an SAC board would fit on here. And if I have got a piece of advice for you, it's this. Never, ever, ever, whatever you do, be tempted to bridge this with a piece of solder. The fuse is there for a reason, and if you end up just bridging it, you could do a lot more damage to your PlayStation than you would imagine. So it isn't worth it for the sake of what it is. Just replace the fuse. Never bridge them. Never bridge them out. Believe me, it's not worth it. So, yeah, 6202 on the SAC board's a lot bigger fuse. So let's just make sure we have continuity across this fuse. Just get our multimeter back in here. Get it close to the microphone so hopefully you can hear it. Oh no. Lovely. Continuity. So F6202 is replaced. All our drive board fuses now read good. So let's put it back in the machine. Let's fire it up and let's see if that's going to be enough to get our drive board working again. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, so we have our machine put back together, and as you can see there, maybe just in the bottom left hand corner, the console is powered on at the moment. So let's get our disc and let's see if we can offer it up and turn it on. Turn it on, get it to feed in. Been a long day. Oh yes, it's been a long day, but when you get a result like that, it makes it all worthwhile. So, as you can see, it's feeding. I can hear it reading up. Lovely jubbly. If I eject it now, there we go. Disk ejects. Eject it again. There we go. Lovely. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, well, I think we can say that that's fixed. And there we go. So yeah, not too dissimilar from the SAC-001 boards, to be honest with you. What did we do today then? So we had this PS4 with an SAD-001 motherboard in it, and as you can see, the machine started off, it wouldn't feed a disk. What we did was we stripped the motherboard out of the machine, we took a look, and of course we identified the fuses for the sort of, if you like, quote-unquote drive logic board, which is obviously integrated into the main board these days. We measured the fuses and we managed to find that F6202 had indeed blown. So F6202 we had to replace. We took F5104 from an SAC-001 board because an SAC-001 board has an F6202 fuse which is a bigger form factor. It wouldn't have fit on the contact points that the SAD-001 board is using. So we did that, and as you can see now, our disk drive is feeding in and out, and it's working absolutely beautifully. So that's that at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Nice and, in the end, nice and easy. But what, of course, if those fuses seem to check out okay on your board, and you're still not getting any eject? Well, the first thing that I would do would be to test your drive that doesn't eject in another machine. If it works, then you know you've got a motherboard problem. or at least get a working board, a known working drive and test it in your machine. And if it continues to not work, again, you know you've got a motherboard problem. Now, if the fuses all test out okay, and you know you've got a board problem, then the next thing I would look at would be the BD-ROM, which is the motor controller IC. And obviously then, if everything's working, which I would imagine it would be, because there's not much else on there that you can really mess with, then hopefully you'll be good to go. So yes, there you go. And if of course your drive in another machine doesn't work, when that machine does work with another drive, then of course you can probably fairly safely identify the fact that it's the drive mechanism motor that's blown and you need to replace it. So yeah, there's a few troubleshooting steps you can jump through just to try and pinpoint what may be the issue. But the first thing you should always test is those fuses, because it's the nice easy one to check. On this board, of course, when we came to remove the fuse, we couldn't get rid of it. And it would appear that when it's blown, it's more or less welded itself to the motherboard. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened to this one to make it do that, but it took a bit of scraping with a soldering iron and a pair of tweezers to actually recover the pads and get the new fuse soldered on there. But we did it in the end, and as you can see now, we'll just go back and we'll do it again just to prove the point. Everything's working absolutely fine. So hopefully you enjoyed this, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully you found it useful. And if so, then please remember to pop a like below. I always very much appreciate a like on my videos, ladies and gentlemen, because like I say, it makes me know that what I'm doing here is worthwhile and that you're all enjoying it and finding them useful. So if that's you, then feel free to pop a thumbs up down below. As always, if you've any questions at all, then feel free to drop a comment below. If you've got something you'd rather say to me personally, then of course you can do. Either drop me a private message on here or head over to Twitter. My Twitter handle is @YTAndrewPaul, and drop me a message on there. My DM box is open to everybody, so you can just drop me a straight message there. If you'd like to arrange a repair of your own and you'd like me to look at a console that you've got and you're based in the UK or the EU, then feel free to drop me a email to the address detailed in the description. That address is ytandrewpaul@outlook.com. And if you'd like a quote or some information on a repair, then of course feel free to drop that below into that email address and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Of course, if you do want components, we can ship components worldwide, including to the States and everywhere else. So if it's just components you're after, then feel free to hit me up and I'll see what I can do for a great price. Across all different consoles, PS4s, Xboxes, MacBooks, all that sort of stuff, drop me an email and I'm sure we can sort you out. If you are in the States and you have to repair, I may know somebody who I can put you in touch with, so feel free to ask. But yes, so that's that, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for watching, and I hope life treats you well until we see you again. And from me, from the PlayStation, from its now working disk drive, from Call of Duty, I wish you a good day, and I will see you shortly on the next vid. So from me and everybody else here, it's bye-bye for now. Many thanks for watching then, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then why not check out these recommendations below. Also, please remember to comment, rate, and of course subscribe to the channel if you found this useful. We've plenty more content on there, and there's lots more to come.